Welcome to Board to Table. My name is Lee McDowell. At Board to Table, we take a brief look at board games, how they play, how we can enhance the game experience, and how we can keep the dust off of boxes by getting them to the table. We want to bring more people into this amazing hobby, a hobby that goes beyond just playing a game, in hopes of producing a rich and meaningful social gathering where people can talk, they can share, experience, and grow closer. So thank you for joining us today as we take a look at in Animal Upon Animal. You're going to take your set of animals. We've got a snake, a sheep, a monkey, all sorts of things here. You're going to take your set, and on your turn, you're going to roll a die. And that die is going to have many different sides. You've got a side that has a 1 pip, 2 pip, and if you roll either one of those, you're going to take that corresponding number of your animals, and you're going to place them on the alligator somewhere. So let's say I did that. Then the opposing players are going to roll the dice, and you're going to go back and forth. This is a game for 4 players, 2 to 4 players, so you're going to, depending on how many it is. But there are other sides to this die as well. If you roll the alligator side, then you're going to pick one of your animals, and all you have to do is simply put it in the front or the back touching the alligator, or if there's others there, you can put it touching that one. The other side of the die you have is a question mark, and if you roll a question mark, then your opponent is going to pick one of your animals to tell you which one you have to place. So they may pick one that'd be harder to place at this point. And then the only other side you've got is the hand. If you roll the hand, you're going to pick one of your animals and you're going to give it to your opponent, and they have to place it as theirs. Now, as you get more and more of these placed on, at some point there's going to be a collapse. So let's say it collapses. All four of them came off. Well, in that case, I take 2, and the other 2 go back to the supply in the box. If one falls off, I have to take that one, so forth and so on. The first player to completely stack all of their animals wins. Monza is a race game for up to 6 players. In this game, you're going to take your color car, and you're going to place it on the start line here. So let's say we have a couple of players playing. Let's say we have a 3-player game here. Then you're going to take these 6 dice, and you're going to roll them. And they're going to give you some colors. We've got 3 white, a purple, a yellow, and a green. So let's say I am the red player, and I'm going to go first. I've got 3 white. These all correspond to colored spaces on the board. You cannot enter into a space with a tire. So let's say I'm going to go first. I've got a white. I know I want to use that first. Then I've got a purple. Let's use that next. Ooh, then I've got a green. Let's use that next. Then I can go another white. Let's use that next. And then I think I'm stuck. I'm not going to be able to use those 2. So I'm going to follow that order. I'm going to go red, purple, green, and white. And since neither one of these makes me available to go to any other spaces, I'm going to end my turn there. And then play passes to the other player. As you're doing this and you're coming across here, if you were to land on a space with another car, you would take that space and push them back to the next closest space. Play is going to continue until everybody makes it around the track. First person to enter one of the 2 ending spaces will win the game. The game ends immediately. There are a few other rules like memorizing your dice and things like that, but this is just very simply Monza. And finally, the 3rd game in our trio is Dancing Eggs, the game in which I get most questions about when I have it laying on my shelf. People go, what is that? It looks like an egg carton. Well, funny enough, it is an egg carton. I want to point out really quickly that the recommended ages for this are ages 5 to 99. Now, it is a game for 2 to 4 players. I've played it with more, but it's really best at 4, but 2 can play it and 3 can play it. It's just a fun game. What you need to do is set this up on a table without any chairs around it. You want plenty of space around the table without obstacles, because you can get hurt. Let's look at the components really quickly. It's going to come with 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10 eggs. One of the eggs is a wooden egg. The rest of them are these rubber eggs which bounce. Pretty cool. The way the game works is you're going to take these 2 dice and you're going to move this out of the way, and you're going to roll the dice. The first die you're going to roll is the red one. So once you roll that, it's going to tell you what to do. So you roll it and you're going to do what's on there. So let's look at the sides. If you roll this side, you're going to simply, whoever was the roller is going to take an egg, throw it up in the air, and when the egg hits the table, at that point then everybody that's playing in the game can try to grab that egg. Whoever gets that egg is going to obtain that for the remainder of the game. Now, once you've done a side, then you're going to pull out this white die. So if you obtain the egg, you're going to roll this die, and this die is going to tell you where you have to put the egg and keep it for the rest of the game. So maybe you have to put it between your legs. Maybe you have to put it in the crook of your arm. Maybe that's what that's called. You may have to put it under your armpit. Maybe you put it under your neck or the side of your neck. Or maybe you roll this and it's wild and you get to pick any of the sides you want. And we're going to continue this. Then the dice is passed to the next player. So I showed you this one where you bounce it. The other things are, you roll the die. If this is the die that lands face up, everybody immediately runs around the table. The first person to get back to their original spot and grabs the die gets an egg. And then, of course, they roll this die to see where to put it. One of the other ones is this one. If you roll that, simply the first person to grab this die gets an egg, and then they roll the corresponding placement die. This one, as you can see with the little voice exaggerations coming out of the beak, this is the first person to completely say cockle-doodle-doo gets an egg. Then there's this one, which looks very similar to this one, but it's not, because there are no little accentuations out of the beak. In this case, if somebody says cockle-doodle-doo, they lose an egg. And then this one is merely you just get an egg. So we've got grab the dice, bounce the egg, run around the table, take an egg, say cockle-doodle-doo, and don't say anything. Play continues until either all the eggs are gone or somebody drops an egg, and at that point if they drop an egg, you count how many eggs you have, and the winner is the one with the most points. Now, the one thing to know is each of the rubber eggs is 1 point, and this wooden egg, which is a little bit harder to hold in certain various positions, especially if you're wearing clothes, which I recommend you do, this is worth 2 points. So we looked at 3 great kids games today. We looked at Monza, Animal Upon Animal, and Dancing Eggs. You may have noticed something looking at these in the intro video, that they're all made by a company called Haba. Haba makes great kids games. Now I'm really talking about young kids games, 3, 4, 5-year-old. I wouldn't pay too much attention to the ages on here because I play it with my family, with adults. They enjoy them too. They're just really filler, quick little fun games if adults play them. But with kids, there's a lot of learning involved. And just to let you know, as soon as a kid can hold stuff and move stuff around, let them start playing these things because they're going to learn from it. In Animal Upon Animal, it's really dexterous. In Monza, you're really learning about rolling those dice and putting them in order to make a path which best benefits your vehicle to get around the track. And then Dancing Eggs, just a lot of fun. A lot of rolling a die and then a lot of times looking really quickly and seeing what that symbol is and then grabbing it or running around the table. So all of these kind of teach things, but they're fun. On Board the Table, we tend to talk a lot about how to enhance the game experience, and really with these, it's just playing them. Playing them with your kids, playing them with whoever. It's just getting them to the table and having some fun. We'll pull all 3 of these out and play, and in 30 minutes we've played 3 games and had a great time. We've laughed. We've really been cutthroat with each other. But I recommend these 3 as a starting point. But Haba makes so many great games. If you can find any Haba games, I recommend you get them. You're hardly ever going to go wrong with them. These are just the ones that I happen to own, and I just haven't felt the need to get any more yet. But these are the ones that here we at Board the Table recommend. That is Animal Upon Animal, Monza, and Dancing Eggs. So thank you for joining us today. I hope that your week is going to be spectacular. And we will see you again at Board the Table.